I see 444 got here. Well, it might have passed me because I was sort of in a daydream space. Anyway, good morning. Oh, I'm not sure where I'm going to go today, but I did come up with a title and a blurb, and we'll see where it leads to. The title I chose, which the first three words, keeping the faith, was the beginning of it, but it's 2012, Keeping the Faith When Human Rights Are Violated. And as I said, keeping the faith was what was coming to me in meditation. Anyway, the blurb goes like this. Last night, our group watched the 2011 movie, The Help. It was set in Jackson, Mississippi, during the civil rights era of the 1960s, based on the New York Times #1 bestseller by Kathryn Stockett. It received 4 Academy Award nominations and won one that went to Octavia Spenser for Best Actress in a Supporting Role. For me, it was a tearjerker, as I watched people speaking out with authenticity about conditions that were often dehumanizing. In today's world, we face similar dehumanizing situations. In fact, I'm adding, as humans, we have always faced dehumanizing situations. Mostly because humans seem to have a hard time remembering who we are, that we are infinite and eternal beings, having that human experience. We were never born, and we never die, although we experience birth and death as humans in the time-space continuum. I like heart-moving, tear-jerking movies. I like the feelings that are brought forth. I like the drama. I even like some of the drama in my own life, and in the drama in the lives of people that I observe. When is drama too much drama? I don't know the answer to that. It is what it is. And we are going through, as happened in the 1960s in the United States, we are going through a radical change of consciousness, a change of perceptions. The world in the Deep South during the 1960s, in relationship to race, has changed a lot since then, all in my lifetime. Yet some of the attitudes may not have changed, but they are no longer predominant. And the attitudes that are shaping our world, mostly from my point of view, are based on the attitudes of the elite toward the rest of the world's population. For indeed, those that have wanted to run the world, call them the Illuminati or the Cabal or the elite, the establishment, whatever label you want to put on it, there are people that look at the rest of the human race as expendable. Now, that attitude is ultimately not sustainable in any culture. Whenever you have part of a culture pitted against another part of a culture, it is always a destructive element. And our world is no different. And in 2012, everything is coming out into the open and being brought to a head. A mainstream newspaper, for the first time, I think, ever, reported on the Bilderbergers, or announced the Bilderberger meeting in Virginia prior to the meeting. I'm talking about Washington Times. And people are aware that there are other people on this planet that have been gathering for many years throughout our lifetime, even going back before the setting for the movie The Help. And they have been plotting how to take over the world. They've called it a new world order that they were trying to create. A world epitomized in the book 1984 by George Orwell, which the one image from that book that is most memorable to me is the combat boot on the human face forever and ever. I had first-hand experience of that this past Sunday. No, it wasn't a combat boot in my face, but it may as well have been. As a 20-year retired ranger from the U.S. Army, now a Brevard County sheriff, abused my rights, abused the so-called power vested in his uniform to try to dehumanize me. And I went through a period of dehumanization where I was being commanded, told what to do. And one person indicated a few days ago that by merely doing what I was being told what to do, I was acting as a debtor and not a creditor. And they were exercising their dominion over me. And dominion is something that can be forced, because we don't want to suffer pain. We don't want to have our freedom and our right to move about freely taken away from us. Right now, I have voluntarily laid my right to travel freely on my own aside. I'm asking people for rides. I'm not getting behind the wheel of an automobile, even though I have the right to travel, and it's a right that has been documented by contract with the government in government papers. But the threat of further violence and further incarceration stopped me dead in my tracks. Yet I will not shut up. I will not stop speaking out. It's difficult sometimes to keep the faith when human rights are violated. And I know that firsthand. Firsthand, I've been made aware of how difficult it is when even some of my friends say, Ron, they're going to keep coming after you. Now you're a target. They're going to keep coming after you. And my reply is always, it's time for divine intervention. It's time for the ETs to show themselves. Because I'm still convinced in my heart that only the human factor in shifting things from the power elite to equality and equanimity for all of mankind can only be brought about by taking out of the way those that control the media, those that control police forces and the military, those that control our governments and our corporations. The people at the top of the pyramid, some of whom are hidden from us, some of whose names we don't know. But these are the people that have been calling the shots in this evolution of consciousness, in which the darkness has almost seemed to overwhelm the light. When they pass laws and acts and other measures to further enslave the human race. And this slavery is not based on race. It's not even based on religion. It's based on economic factors. Who has the money makes the rules. Who has the gold makes the rules is the cliche. How do we keep the faith at a time when the elite seem to be blustering more and more? There are indications. I see them. All of us that look on the internet, and even a little bit in the mainstream media, we see that changes are happening. Certainly more and more people are aware than ever before. How do we keep the faith? How do we keep the faith that there is good in the universe, and that good is the goal of our Creator, and that we are all one in our Creator? How do we keep the faith when there are still those that see everything as divided and would say to those of us that are standing up, you bring it all on yourself. If you would just do what you're told, they wouldn't come after you. Yeah. How do you keep the faith when they're using force against you and threats? How do you keep the faith? These are questions that I'm asking myself this morning as I meditate, and now as I share with you from my heart. I know that I will continue to do what I'm doing for as long as I'm able to do so. And I do think that the best parts of my life are ahead of me. Do I know what the future holds specifically? Do I know what actions are going to be taken by those that are going to lose their power? It's not a question of who's going to win. We know who's going to win. The truth is going to win. Love is going to win. Compassion is going to win. The highest good is going to win. Peace on earth is going to win. But how long will it take? To me, the greatest stumbling block continues to be the apathy of the majority, the apathy of the masses that do not get involved because they've been brainwashed. They being another aspect of ourselves that has been brainwashed into acquiescence and to just getting along and doing what you're told. Faith in the status quo instead of faith in the evolution of consciousness. Anyway, these are some of the thoughts that have been on my mind this morning as I awakened and as I've meditated over the past hour plus. Once again, I thank you for listening. Namaste. Thank you.